Shalom, shalom. Welcome to Yahweh Teachings. We are so excited about this new series that we have started recording here. This is a deep dive into the scripture, and we hope you enjoy what we have planned and what we have started here of digging into what does the scripture mean? What is it that we look at when we prepare to do some of our videos, and what's the background behind what it is that we are researching in order to put together these videos. So we decided to record conversations that we have as we study and as we interview other people, and we look for the data and information that help us come to the conclusions that we've come to. And so what you'll see in this series is people that we've included that have different expertise and knowledge. And so for starters, we've got Stephen here, who is an expert in the etymology of scripture words. And he spent over 20 years researching the biblical words from the source of them to the source in English as much as possible. And so what I mean by that is taking the words that are in the English version of the Bible, looking at the Strong's Concordance, and following those words back to the root of the word that's in the Strong's, and then following that to the etymology of the English word that correlates to that meaning coming from the Greek or the Hebrew, in which it would translate the best in English. And so this has been a lot of years of study for him and a lot of different research to get to the depth of what the words would actually mean in today's language. And then we also have another guest with us, Joachim, who is an expert in the Hebrew language and is giving us his perspective on what do the Hebrew words mean, what is the full representation of those words in the Hebrew culture today. And so he gives us a perspective from the Hebrew culture and the Hebrew language as of today, what some of those words would mean in their culture, along with how you would translate that into English, because it's very difficult to translate words word for word. And so they come with meanings and not just direct translation. So you'll see the beginning of that in this series, and we plan to record many more videos in this series about how we research, how we study, who we talk to, who are some of the experts that we use in order to come to the conclusions that we come to. And remember, all of this comes back to us trying to learn as much as we possibly can about what is the Word of Yahweh. What is the word that was given to us? What did YHWH+We mean when he shared his word with the people, when he walked on the earth as a man? And how can we use that then in our everyday life to train us, to teach us, to grow us up, to edify the entire body of Yahushua HaMashiach? Because that is the goal of every believer, is to edify the body, and that we all may grow up into the fullness of Yahushua HaMashiach. And so we hope you like this series. We hope you enjoy learning along with us. So grab your pens and your papers and your Strongs and all of your research materials and sit down and let's dive deep into the scripture. Shalom.
We need to have what I want to do basically is I'm putting together a word list related to the scriptures, the Tanakh and the Brit Hadashah, Old and New Testaments, of words that were that have been changed up, not just changed and replaced and translated, but I'm talking about that are actually negative, like the word blessed is a curse, okay? But I don't think we have words in there like shalom. There's not an adequate, without using the word shalom, there's not a single word in our English language that would really adequately, fully encompass it without really elaborating what it is.
That's the problem we ran into as well.
And so, so then you just have to use the actual original words or find translation. But some of the translations that do a better job, they're not perfect because, like I said earlier, there's some that they agree that Elohim shouldn't be in there, but then they'll use Allah or something Well, that's just
Right.
bad. So I think
Right.
just not even using it at all. I mean, using either Yah or Yahweh.
Uh-huh. Well, and that's ultimately what we want, is to try to get to the most accurate words we can.
And so I'm trying to compile a list together that people can decide. And because I think that by doing so, because like you said, the other conversation we had before about the healing, and what heal means, that word's in the scriptures as well.
It is. Uh-huh.
And so that people will pray for that. And as it says, we can pray for healing. Well, it's like saying you can pray for, what is it, a curse, I guess? Is that what it means? Tell me again.
To be released from the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so that's what it should be better framed, better.
Right.
And so
Or there's some references where it says to be cured.
Okay, yeah.
So cured of the curse is where it's going. It's released of the curse and cured of the curse.
Right. So, yeah, okay, good. Yeah. And so I want to be able to have people that don't go to one extreme or the other, that don't just think that, well, one extreme is that, well, it's just a word, it's not a big deal, it's just, it's the same. There's not, they don't want to get too technical. But then there's the other extreme, like I was saying before, where I know people, like this woman that takes it to the extreme of you can't even speak of something, doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Right.
It's right there. They need to openly admit, okay, we got this is here, but we rebuke it, or we want to be delivered from this X, Y, and Z thing.
Right. So a pastor that I listened to one time, he said, it's okay for you to state the facts if you follow it up with the truth.
Right, exactly.
And I really appreciated that, because many times it's the facts that we're actually trying to deal with. It's not truth that we're trying to deal with, it's the facts. And people are looking at facts. And if we would actually define the difference between facts and truth, we could bring better results to people.
Yeah, if we would define the facts and the truth together, is that what you said?
Yeah, well, and the separation between the two.
Oh, a separation, yeah, right.
So a fact is something that can change. It's the fact of the situation that's in your life at the moment.
Right.
But the truth is Yahweh's truth that will never change. Yahweh's truth is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It can't change, otherwise it's not truth.
Right, okay, so it's something permanent, so yeah. And you being, and the truth is, we can be delivered. We are not limited to the facts. The curse, yeah, or the curse, yeah. We're not
right, because the facts are all driven around, I shouldn't say all, but the majority of facts are all driven around a cursed reality. Because people are looking at their flesh. They're not looking at what the truth of the scripture is.
Yeah, and so I think that if they are willing to recognize that there is, at that moment in time, whatever is going on, whatever fact in that form at that time, if there's a snake or whatever, or you got some kind of illness, then you recognize, acknowledge it, and then, or that you've done something, whatever, but you want to be delivered from it, then is the truth.
Right.
The authority.
Yep, you tell it to go.
Yep.
And that,
so you can make a statement that, okay, so to your example of a snake comes up and bites your hand, just like Paul had when he was on the island of
Patmos.
No, that's John. Malta. When Paul gets shipwrecked on the island of Malta, and they swim to shore, and the people that are there think that they're gods or something because they survived the storm. And then they're sitting around the fire, and a snake comes out of the fire and latches on to Paul's hand. And so the fact was, in that moment, Paul got bit by a snake, and it was a poisonous snake. But the truth was that when Paul shook the snake off into the fire, and he commanded that his body was fine, and whatever words he used, because it's not recorded what words he used, but he shook the snake off into the fire and he didn't die. So the truth was that the light that was within him from Yehoshua was stronger than the snake.
Okay.
So it's that same kind of situation. Is if your truth is more powerful than the fact that you're looking at, then your truth will override your fact.
Right. Right. And so, yeah. So it doesn't say what he spoke, but he spoke something. And yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And so, I don't know if that ties in with maybe with the Messiah. Remember when he was, it was these accusers for this woman. And,
When he wrote on the ground.
yeah, it doesn't say what he wrote, but he wrote, and some people suspect he wrote their names.
Right? Or he wrote their sins. Some people say he wrote their sins. He wrote some kind of truth on the ground because Yehoshua was truth and acted in truth in everything he did while he was a man. So whatever he wrote on the ground had to be truth.
Yeah.
So they were bringing forward a fact of a situation that they had caught a woman in adultery, and he was overcoming their facts with truth.
Yeah. And that's the frame of mind which you go when you go into court of law. Or ideally, I guess, and if you go with the truth, not always the facts, because the facts can be skewed.
Yep. Well, and he said to them, he said, "He who is without sin, throw the first stone." So
Yeah.
he was telling them, okay, you have a right to throw the stone, but only if you don't have sin in your life. And one thing that I find absolutely fascinating is if you go to the scripture that says at the very last verse of Romans 14, at the end of it, it says, "That which is not born of faith is sin." It says that in the King James Version. But when you look at the word faith is actually truth itself. So,
Oh,
so we can look at it if you want. Do we want to go there? It's the last verse of Romans 14.
okay. Okay, see here.
So Romans 14:23,
See here.
and the very last part of the sentence after the colon, it says, "For whatsoever is not of faith is sin." And faith is the word G4102.
And it's Romans what again? I'm at Romans.
Romans 14,
14. Okay, go ahead. All right.
verse 23.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get back there. Okay. Here it is, 14 and 23. Okay. Last verse. Okay, I'm there.
Okay.
And he that doubteth is damned.
Keep going.
And if he eat because not of faith. Is that word faith that's used there?
That word faith is
And for whatsoever.
G4102.
Yeah, right. I see that. G41 too. Okay.
And it's
Okay.
the same number for the next faith. So keep reading the sentence.
Oh, okay. Is sin. Oh, yeah. Faith is sin. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but it said not before that. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. So
Oh.
then go to G4102.
Oh, for whatsoever not of faith, not of faith.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So when I go to 4102, and yeah, let's see. Okay, here it is. Okay, it says, yeah, nuance, fidelity, believeth, belief, assurance, and then
So those are all assurance and belief, and believe and faith and fidelity are all after the colon and the dash in my Strongs.
okay,
Before that before that is that it comes from G3982,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
persuasion.
Yeah, that
That
is
is
credence.
credence, moral conviction, especially reliance upon Christ for salvation. So we know that word Christ is not the correct word.
Right. And if you look in the Thayer's definitions, Thayer's concordance definitions for the New Testament, it says conviction of the truth of anything, belief, a conviction.
Conviction of the truth, right?
Yeah.
And the last part of the sentence from the Strong says, by extension, the system of religious truth itself. So, to me, this word, I don't know if I say it right, if I'm saying it right, pistis, or something similar to that,
Pistis, yes.
is reference to truth itself. So, truth itself would mean Yehoshua.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, in fact, it kind of mentions that the conviction or belief respecting man's rational relationship to Yah and divine things, generally with the included idea of trust and holy fervor born of faith, joined with it and relating to Yah, and the conviction that Yah exists and is the creator and ruler, and then it goes on to the relating to Messiah, relating to Messiah. Is the Messiah, yeah. So I don't know if that's the same thing.
23. 23.
Because it's like the truth. The truth is what I just said about Yah and the Messiah.
Right. And so ultimately, that word, if you replace the word faith with the word truth,
Okay.
and Yehoshua is truth, he's the only one who is truth, right? Yehoshua, Yahweh, Yah, Ruach HaKodesh, combined together is truth. And so,
Right.
so if I look at it from that perspective, then it says, whatsoever is not of truth is sin. Well, the opposite of truth is a lie. So anything that is a lie is sin. And that would take us back to the original sin, which is where the devil himself, right, or the adversary himself, Lucifer, Halil, his first act of sin is when he wants to commit a lie of replacing Yahweh. So he wants all the worship that is going to Yahweh to come to him. And instead of being the light bringer, he wants to be the light provider. He wants to be the light itself, right?
Right. So yeah, he's the truth. So you have to, but first you have to, like we were saying, you have to acknowledge the what we call the facts, what the current situation is, right?
Sure.
So, and like we said in the past, you can't just put your head on the sand and say and not speak it and thinking that's going to go be to solve the problem.
No, but you have to understand what's actually happening, and that was the point of me bringing this verse up, is the facts are the lies.
Right.
Because if it's not of truth itself, of Yehoshua, then it is sin.
Right.
And the opposite of truth is a lie. And that's the point I was trying to get to, is the opposite of truth is a lie.
Okay. And being sick, for example, is not the truth, because the truth is he doesn't want you to be sick.
The truth is he already restored you. It's not just he doesn't want
he
you
delivered
sick.
you.
He's already delivered you from the curse.
Right. Okay.
So
Which is
even more. It's even more than restoration or healing or any of those words that we try to use. It's so much more than that, because he's already released you from the curse, because Yehoshua took the punishment for that already.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And then to make it even more strong, not only did he take the punishment, not only did he release you, he defeated the devil himself. So the devil, death, and Hades have all been defeated. Well, if that's already done, if he already finished all of that, then anything that would say that you are not already made perfect in Yehoshua would be a lie.
Right. Well, it's like, okay, I'm going to give you another example that Steve's familiar with, okay? You know somebody, Steve, that we both know that at the assembly, that they know somebody, that family member that had, what is it? I think it was cancer, or diagnosed it, and they believe that that the doctors speaking it over them, and that they just want to, I think, what is it? They want to not. They don't want to receive it. They don't want to speak it. They don't want to. They don't even want to even acknowledge it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they don't want to even live, and they don't want them to even speak it. How they're feeling, how sickly, how much pain and all that. They don't want to. They want them to deny all that by not speaking it. In essence, by not. But that's different than what we're talking about here. Is the truth, because I think that's different, because they're not adding that component. I guess is what I'm desperately trying to say here.
Well, it depends on how it's being addressed, right? Because cancer in and of itself is a lie. Because
Right.
all sickness and disease are lies that come from demons.
Yeah,
so if you go to a doctor to get confirmation of a cancer, you're going to a witch doctor to get confirmation that you have a lying demon in your body.
Right, and then that's one thing. Yeah.
So instead of saying I've got cancer, how about you say there's a lying demon afflicting my body? And now, okay,
Right.
so that's the truth. You have a lying demon that's afflicting your body. Now you go to the elders and ask them to pray for you. Because that's what James tells us, is if you can't do it yourself, then go to the elders and have them pray for you, and you will be released to the curse.
will be delivered.
So, can you still hear us, or did you freeze?
People really don't want them to say that, as if that's going to solve the problem. But I don't think that's going to solve the problem.
We broke up for a little bit there, so we didn't catch all of what you're saying.
Okay, what was the last thing you heard? What was the last part you heard?
Charity was explaining to you the
No, okay, what I was saying, I was speaking, I didn't know if you heard that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what was she saying?
Just repeat your sentence over again. What did you just say?
Okay. Let me see. The part, I was saying how, so this person, it's not just that the witch doctor has put them over them, and that you were saying, I heard you say that that they instead should be saying that there's a lying demon in the person themselves or in the doctor.
Well, there's a lying demon afflicting the person, because we don't care about the doctor, because that's not relevant to the situation.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought you said. Okay, I thought in the person. Okay, but then this same person that's in the person, they decided to just give it up, and so they've openly admitted they don't want to keep on suffering, and they just want to let go of this life.
That's my stuff.
Huh?
Okay. Well, I mean, a person has a choice to give up their life if they want to, right?
I mean, without struggling on, and
right.
But that's not. But by denying that, and so the other members, the other people in the assembly, are wanting them, and other family members are wanting them not to speak it as if that's somehow going to solve the problem. But that still wouldn't solve the problem.
No. No, that doesn't solve the problem, because we're not kicking out the lying demon.
Yeah, the actual problem is they're thinking cancer is a sickness or a dis-ease.
Right.
In all actuality, it's an oppression or possession of a demon that's afflicting you. So
yeah.
That's the problem, is the understanding. And that's why we have to bring them truth. The truth will set you free. If they don't have truth, they're not going to be free. They're going to be saying, oh, hell me, Yahweh, God, hell me of this disease.
Yeah, they can't say healed because that's not going to work either.
Yeah, and they're talking to a random God. Who knows what the God is? Maybe it's the God that's actually afflicting them is the God that they're praying to. We don't know. And then they say heal, which is a derivative of hell or well or whole or holy, or Halil, the devil. We don't know that either. Where that word, it's all derivatives of terrible things. So they're not saying the correct words.
And there are cases, yeah, Joachim, to make sure that we make this clear too, is there are cases where people have a relationship with Yahweh, but they're using the wrong names. And they don't have the right wording for what they're saying because they don't believe that there's any corruption in the scripture itself. So they look at the English translation and they say that is the inspired word of Yahweh as it came out of his mouth. And so people in that situation that have that stronghold in them, that actually have a relationship with Yahweh, will sometimes get results. They don't always get 100% results 100% of the time, but they will sometimes get results because their belief is in Yahweh.
Right.
And their truth is in Yahweh. And they believe that Yahweh has or will restore them. And so in some fashion, because of the way their belief is, they will get their faith high enough to get the results. But that's not the perfect answer. That's not the best that Yahweh gave us. It's kind of like what we want to say, like fluke accidents, right?
Okay, yeah. So having I think what you're saying is that having a relationship by itself is not enough. It'll sometimes work, but not consistently.
Well, if you're
right. Look at the disciples.
If you are asking your father for a apple and you use the word pear, what's it going to do?
Right. And like some words in the English language mean multiple things, even though it's pronounced the same way. But we use it in different contexts, and that can be confusing. So that makes it hard. And and just like and it's diluted and watered down. Even in the scriptures, we have one word, love, that is it's supposed to encompass all the different levels of love, but doesn't really break down what kind of love. Doesn't say
that's correct.
And so it doesn't help. So relationship, like you had said in our previous conversation, there were three things. I think it was strongholds, relationship, and there was something else.
And traditions of men.
Yeah, right. And so they have to let go of the tradition. So I think if you have a relationship, meaning relationship being defined more along the lines probably like a Christian, they believe the Creator. They're using the wrong name, however, so they have a stronghold on that, like you were saying. So they have a belief that they could be cured or something, but they're using the wrong things, and I think that's what you're saying. So by having a stronghold, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that the reason the results don't always work, or why you don't always get the result you think you're going to get to come to play, is because of who's enacting the words that we're using. So we say it, but we're not the ones who are causing it to happen. That's what the angels are for. They're the messengers of Yahweh. And the light angels can only do what Yahweh said. So if you're not using Yahweh's words, the light angels cannot do what they need to do because they don't know what you said because it's not Yahweh's word. So they have to then go, because their job is to protect you and to help you and bring things to the children of inheritance, then, which is the wrong word. What's the word for inheritance? Do you know? Oh, okay. Well, we have to look up that word because that word's not the right word. But the children of Yahweh, the messengers of Yahweh, are supposed to help the children of Yahweh. And so if they don't know what the children of Yahweh are saying, they've got to go back to the Father and ask the Father, what did they say? because I don't understand. And then Yahweh has to translate for them and say, this is what they want you to do. And then the angel has to go back to try to do it.
Yeah, but think about it. If you're saying awful demon thing, tell me because I'm
this demon.
sick.
Yeah.
You know, and that would be like people
like
think
charity.
they pray to the God, or they pray to some God. So to translate that, you would say, Yahweh, deliver me from this demon. But in all actuality, we're taught to say awful demon thing or random God that I don't know. Send me to hell and make me not sick. Make me not have a dis-ease. And
A lack of comfort.
yes, a lack of comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So the wording is important, because if you're saying random God, afflict me more, send me to hell, and keep me in discomfort, and a demon standing next to you or a fallen angel standing next to you, what are they going to do? They're going to answer your prayer, because you're praying, you're asking them to go do something to afflict you. Whereas if you use the Yahweh's name, you say Yahweh.
You're giving that random demon the authority.
Right.
Yeah, you're asking the right questions, and then the angels will know exactly what you're saying.
So you'll get results faster because in all the time that the light angel is going back to Yahweh to ask what you meant, the dark angels are sitting there doing all the things that you just said, because they're going to lie and steal and cheat and try to kill you, because that's their job.
Yeah, and when that usually happens, people are like, "Oh, God didn't heal me, and I'm getting worse," or "This is terrible. I got to go to the doctor and get checked up again and get another curse."
Yeah, and then
making it worse because they don't have faith, they don't trust, and they don't have. The real problem is they don't have truth.
Right. Yeah, that is the real problem, is they don't have truth. And words they're using is a lack of truth.
Yes.
And they've inadvertently given permission to the wrong people, in this case, the fallen angels.
And that's why the scripture says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Well, if you don't know truth, it's really hard to survive. Thank you for following our ministry. If you are interested in learning more about who we are and what we are doing, please feel free to like, subscribe, or share or follow the ministry on any of our pages. If you want to donate anything to our ministry, here are the ways in which you can do so: with Venmo, PayPal, or send us an email if you have any questions or need additional information. Thank you.